Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How are we doing today? I hope you're excited because today we're going to be going over the top 5 players that could get moved at the trade deadline and how that may affect their young gun prices. This is just a fun list I came up with after the Horvat trade. Figured I want to get this video out as soon as possible because some of these names might in fact move before the deadline. So yeah, let me know if I missed anybody down in the comments below. This is not financial advice, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy. All right, kicking the list off at number 5. It's going to be a Chicago Blackhawk. It's going to be Jonathan Toews, and there's been a lot of interest for Jonathan Toews. He's had kind of a bit of a resurgence year after those down years. He was dealing with some medical stuff, but he seems like he's good now. He'd be a good vet ad for a playoff team, really help them bolster that experience. Yeah, I just think Toews would be a good fit for some of those teams going on cup runs. The only reason I could see Toews not getting moved at the deadline is because of his contract. He's making $10.5 million. So even with Chicago eating half of his contract, he's still gonna have a $5.25 million cap hit, and that might be too rich for some teams. I heard Toronto's been in on him, and that's probably the best case scenario for Jonathan Toews' Young Gun card if he did go to Toronto. Toews' Young Gun currently sells for around $150 raw on eBay, Canadian that is. I don't think this is really a play to buy, even if he does go to a high market team like Toronto, if he went to a team like New York. I don't think his Young Guns is going to shift that much either way, up or down. That being said, if he did go to Toronto, if he did go on the run, his card might see some spikes because both Blackhawks fans and Leaf fans would like to collect his cards. But that's a big maybe. That's a big guess. It's very hard to predict where these guys are going to end up, and it's going to be a lot of guessing and hoping that we get the guys that go to those big market teams like a Toronto, like a Boston, like a New York. That's the guys we're looking for. All right, with these next 4, I am pretty confident they'll get moved before the deadline or at the deadline. I can see Toews sticking it out, but the rest of them, I think they'll move unless extensions get signed. Coming in number 4, going to be John Klingberg of the Anaheim Ducks. Been having an absolutely brutal season with the Ducks. I think it's very possible they move on from him. I really doubt it. He signs an extension there. I think a team will take a flyer on him and he could be a difference maker on a playoff team, run a power play, get some points, and if he goes to the right team, this card could gain some value. When checking Klingberg's value on eBay, I was actually shocked that this card still sells for around $25 Canadian on eBay. It seems a bit high for me considering how bad it has been for him in Anaheim, but maybe people are predicting that he does move on and that he does get a big role with a playoff team. It's very hard predicting where Klingberg will go just because he is just an offensive defenseman. Pretty much his defensive stats have been terrible this year. Yeah, it's just whatever team takes a flyer on him, I guess. It'd be cool seeing him back in Dallas, but I doubt that will happen. I don't know, maybe Pittsburgh, maybe if Letang's injured or something. But yeah, that complete guess. I'm not really sure where he goes, but if he is running a power play and he can go on a deep playoff run, he could gain some value. All right, next up at number 3, you saw the one Blackhawk on the list earlier. We're getting to the other one. It's Patrick Kane on the exact same expiring deal as Jonathan Toews, $10.5 million. But Kane at $5.25 million would be a lot more appealing than Toews at $5.25 million. So I think it's a lot more likely that Kane goes. And I could see him on a team like the Carolina Hurricanes. I think Kane would be a perfect fit for them. They kind of need a superstar that can really be a game changer. And I think Kane could slot great on the Carolina Hurricanes and someone else we're going to talk about a little later on this list, especially with the Pacioretty injury. But with Patrick Kane going to the Carolina Hurricanes, I think that hurts his card value quite a bit. I'm not sure if they go on a cup run. That would be the only way it could save it, I think. Currently selling for around $250 Canadian on eBay. And yeah, I think if he leaves Chicago, unless he goes to one of those big name teams like the Rangers or something like that, I don't think this card goes up much. So yeah, the first 3 cards in this list, I'm not huge on buying and hoping they rise from trades at the deadline. But these next 2, I think there is a play there, and I think there is a chance that you could get some real value out of there. And in the top 2, I'd be very surprised to see both these players still on their teams after the deadline if they haven't signed extensions. It's going to be Dylan Larkin at number 2, the captain out of the Detroit Red Wings and currently an upcoming UFA. And I just cannot see Steve Yzerman holding on to Larkin if he's unable to sign an extension because they're not in a playoff race, really. They are still in it, but not enough to be considered an actual playoff contender for a cup. I just don't see them allowing Larkin to walk for nothing, and I think he gets moved if an extension is not worked out. I think Dylan Larkin's one of the most underrated players in the league, and his card currently sells for around $25 to $30 Canadian on eBay. I think it's a little undervalued considering how long he's been in Detroit, and he's their captain, kind of the face of the franchise sort of thing. But we will see where he goes if he does go at the deadline. And depending on the market, I could see this card doubling to $50 Canadian, depending if he goes on a cup run. It all depends with these young gun cards where they go. If he goes to Dallas, I think his card won't move at all. It might go down a bit even. But if he goes to a big market team like the Boston Bruins, imagine Dylan Larkin on the Bruins, I could see his card raising in value just because of that and because of his cup chances. Just very, very quickly before we reveal the number one pick, if you guys could go on ahead and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. It's completely free. We just passed 600 subscribers, and thank you guys so much for all the support. As always, I appreciate it. Drop a like on the video. It really helps me grow the channel and helps me reach a wider audience. And comment down below who you think is going to get moved at the trade deadline and what young guns you think are going to have the most impact from being moved at the trade deadline. In case you guys may have missed, I'll be going live tomorrow for my first ever Whatnot stream. So if you've seen a card I've pulled in a video and you want to maybe purchase it for yourself, maybe drop by the Whatnot stream, say hi, or if you just want to come out and chat too, that's cool. Drop it in the Whatnot stream tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you guys there. All right, and coming in at our number one spot, you may have guessed it. Let me know down in the comments if you guessed it. It's a San Jose Shark. And it's not Erik Karlsson, it's Timo Meier for the San Jose Sharks. I'd be very surprised if he's still on the team if they don't extend him for one reason only, because he's an RFA and his qualifying offer would come in at $10 million a season. And I just don't think San Jose wants to pay Timo Meier $10 million a season. That's kind of crazy. He's a very good player, but I don't think he's worth $10 million. I don't even know if the Sharks could afford Timo Meier $10 million a season after their cap crunch and everything going on. And when looking at players who are most likely to get dealt, we can't ignore the logistics. We can't ignore the contract situations. We can't ignore the cap, because a lot of these big name networks, Erik Karlsson's the big name. They think Erik Karlsson's going to trade it, but logistically, it just doesn't work. Erik Karlsson's contract is too much money for too long. Yes, he's having a resurgent season. Yes, he's a Norris-level defenseman again, and he's probably going to win the Norris, but for San Jose to get what they want for Karlsson and a team willing to give that up, I just don't see it, because you're locking yourself into that insane 11, I think it's like $11.5 million over the next 5 years or so still. Absolutely insane. I don't see a way where a team's willing to give that, and the Sharks are happy with a return to get that. Yeah, it's enough about Erik Karlsson. We're talking about Timo Meier. Timo Meier is currently selling for around $25 Canadian on eBay. I think it's a very good buy considering what he's done this season and where he might end up. Considering the Sharks can retain 50% of his contract this season, a team can get him for $3 million like the Leafs, which fingers crossed for the hockey card market that happens, because I think Meier's cards will go through the roof if he plays well for the Leafs. But he could also end up on the Rangers, the Hurricanes, any team looking for a forward could definitely use Timo Meier, maybe even the Stars, even though the Stars would probably hurt his value, or the Jets maybe, they might help it. It just, all these cards, it completely depends where they go. It's just a guessing game, but I think Timo Meier has that offensive upside that the hobby likes, so I think that his cards could definitely go up if he gets moved. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate it. Leave a comment down below if you think this list is absolute gibberish. I guess we'll see in the next coming weeks if this list is good, if this list is bad, what happens at the deadline, what cards go up, what cards will go down. I'm excited. Hope you're excited. Make sure you guys subscribe. I really appreciate it. It helps me grow the channel, helps me keep doing this, and drop a like on the video as always. Yeah, thank you all for watching. Take care. Have a good one.